Welcome back to the Oscar Project Podcast, the show where I discuss Oscar-nominated films year by year. I am your host, Jonathan Eichelberg, and today I'm bringing you an interview with Akshit Kumar, director of the short film bonVoyage pour monVoyage, which recently won the Bronze Award at the 2024 Student Academy Awards. Before I jump into the interview, please be sure to subscribe to the show in your podcast player so you can get all the newest episodes as soon as they are released. If you like the interview and want to hear more, please consider leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Akshit Kumar is a storyteller and avid traveler from Patna, India. He enjoys narrating the stories he encounters on his travels and is particularly passionate about traditional Indian arts, which he incorporates into his storytelling. He joins me on the podcast to talk about his short film, bonVoyage pour monVoyage, which recently won the Bronze Award in the Experimental Alternative category of the 2024 Student Academy Awards. Akshit, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, your film is inspired by your own travels and your drawings that you make as you travel. What was the idea behind turning these static drawings into animated scenes for the film?
So I never actually started traveling with the intention of making a film. First, I took a New Year resolution in 2023 that I'll travel more and I'll go out and go to at least 10 different cities. And by the end, I went to 8 cities, which was quite impressive by my standards. And as an animator, when I travel, I sketch a lot, and I also like collecting souvenirs and stuff. So by the end, last year, November, my semester started, and I was going through the pictures and everything, and I thought that, wow, this is like a really good memories journal, and I should maybe try converting it into a video format to share it with the world. So that's how I came up with the film.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say memory right there. That obviously the animations are fairly simple based on your drawings, but I think they really effectively place the viewer in kind of the place and the time of the action that you are capturing, and it does almost feel like a memory that we're seeing on screen. What was the actual process like of taking the original drawings that you drew on your travels and then turning them into animation?
Yeah, I wanted to cover all the different mediums that I document my travels, which included like sketches of pictures and videos and souvenirs that I collect while traveling. So all the sketches I would scan and then digitally put it in Photoshop and then animate on top of it. And it was a very intuitive process. I didn't have a animatic or reproduction or storyboards to think about every morning. I'll just wake up and think, okay, fine, I should do this today. And then I'll just go ahead with it.
It's fantastic. And obviously, being that these are, mainly static drawings that you've animated from, the sound plays a very important role in helping to create each scene in the film. Were the sounds in the films things that you recorded on your travels as well, or were those things that you gathered later once you started to put the film together?
Yeah, so for some places, yes, I had sounds from those places already on my phone. But since while traveling, I did not know that I would make a film later on. But luckily, I was really active on Instagram during that time. So whichever place I would go to, I would put up an Instagram story about it. So while doing the sound design for my film, I would go through my Instagram story archives, and then there I would find that place's audio, and then I would edit it to fit my film. But I think 40% of my film, I had to create sounds from scratch. So I go to Pixabay or Free Sounds or YouTube uncopyright musics and just download sound effects and everything from there. So if, for example, there's a shot of a sculptor sculpting a Durga Ma figure in Kolkata. So for that part, I had to create a sound from scratch. So I layered narrow lane ambient sounds with traffic sounds with, say, sculpting sounds with Bengali conversation sounds in the background. So there's a lot of layering for creating a particular sound for a place.
That's fantastic. Sounds like a lot of work, but that definitely sounds like we're right there in the place when we watch the film. Now, in addition to the animation, there also appeared to be a few short segments where you actually used some live video that I assume you recorded on your travels as well. What were you trying to capture by including those in an otherwise entirely animated film?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, that while creating this film, I was also going through all the different mediums that I tried to document my journey. and pictures and videos also played a big role in that. So by making the film, I wanted to include pictures and videos in along with the sketches and the tickets and the other different mediums that I explored with.
And obviously you love traveling. You mentioned it at the top, and this kind of speaks to that, your entire project here. What are some of the favorite places that you've visited so far?
London would come on the top right now because I was there. But
Sure.
I think Kolkata is a really good place. One of my favorite places in India. Then Agra, where got to see the Taj Mahal. It's so beautiful in real life. And Mumbai. Yeah, Mumbai is also a really good place. One of my favorite places in India.
Fantastic. And what are some of your dream destinations that you've never been able to go to yet?
I really, really want to go to Ladakh someday, Himalayan range, and it just feels very exciting to go there and trek there. So Ladakh is on my wish list.
Excellent. And I mentioned it at the top, and congratulations on being named the bronze medalist in the experimental alternative category at this year's Student Academy Awards. You already mentioned that London was your favorite trip so far, but what were some of the most memorable parts of that trip, the events and the awards in London?
I guess meeting all the other winners, because it was such a unreal experience, because I had never imagined that something like this would happen. Meeting different people, meeting animators from the US, from France, from Japan, and realizing that they also face the same struggles as I do. And we were all just laughing about it. And yeah, every day we used to hang out, have dinners together. So through the entire journey, I feel like that was the most memorable part of it, like talking to other winners.
Are there any festivals or screenings coming up where people can check out the film if they're interested?
Not internationally, but in India, my film is being screened in Festival of Short Films on Cultural Tourism. It's in Varanasi, and it's happening on 16th to 18th December. Internationally, I still have to hear back from a lot of festivals because I applied very late. So that's the only screening that is coming up right now.
Wonderful. We'll put a link to that one in case anybody is in India and can check it out. Now, I have a couple of questions not specifically related to the film, but before I move on, is there anything else you want to touch on about bonVoyage or monVoyage?
No, I think I spoke a lot about it already, but if you guys want to, my film looks good, but it's much better in real life, so come to India and enjoy it. Yeah.
For sure. Now, this might be the hardest question I ask, but if you had to pick your top 3 films of all time, what would they be?
These are one of the most difficult questions. I feel like I'm in a letterboxd interview. I think top 3 would be Little Miss Sunshine. I watch that film every time when I'm sad. It's a really good film. Piku, it's a Bollywood film, really heartwarming family drama. This one is a bit weird, but Final Destination, all 5 parts. I feel like I have childhood memory associated to it.
And if you could invite any 3 movie characters to your next dinner party, who would they be and why?
I think Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada.
Okay.
I'm in love with that character. I want to be in the presence of Miranda Priestley. Then the grandfather from Little Miss Sunshine, Alan Arkin's character. Yep. I think he's so hilarious. I would love to have a conversation with him. Then Amy from Gone Girl. I don't know. I love that character as well. So I would love to have all those 3 people in a conversation in a dinner table.
That would certainly create some interesting conversations, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any books that you could recommend that you've read recently or that you enjoy? They could be fiction or nonfiction and don't have to be related to movies.
I read fiction a lot. And when I was very young, I read all the Goosebumps book by R.L. Stine. And I just love those books so much. I still sometimes read it. And recently, I have been reading this book, Creativity Inclusive. It's by Ed Catmull, the founder of Pixar Studios, and it's a book about studio management and how to work with a group of people. And it's a really good book. One of my friends gifted it to me after I won the Student Academy Award, so I've been reading it, and it's a really good book.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's a book that's actually been recommended a couple times on the podcast, so it's definitely a popular one.
Yeah.
And last thing before we wrap up, do you have any other projects lined up that you're working on? And also, where can people follow you on social media to keep tabs on your work?
I recently finished a stop-motion film. It's called How to Preserve a Fishy Marriage with 4 other batchmates of mine. It's finished. We will be sending it to festivals soon. And I'm currently working on a very short film. It's about growing up. It's a part of my college project. And in February or March of 2025, I will start my graduation project, which is still at very early development phase right now. So yeah, those are the 3 projects that are lined up for now.
Wonderful. Sounds like you're going to be plenty busy.
Yes.
And where can people follow you on social?
And they could follow me on my Instagram. The handle is _AYKAY.K.
Well, we'll put a link to that in the show notes as well so people can give you a follow.
Hey.
Well, Akshit, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. Really appreciate you sharing your film and getting to hear some of the stories about your travels as well.
Thank you so much. I love having this conversation with you.
Thank you again to my guest today, Akshit Kumar. His short film, bonVoyage for monVoyage, was a Bronze Award winner at the 2024 Student Academy Awards. The Oscar Project podcast is written and produced by me, Jonathan Eacherberg, with editing assistance from Joshua Eacherberg. If you want more movie coverage, please check out The Oscar Project online at theoscarproject.substack.com, and be sure to come back for my next episode where I will be speaking with Marco Perego, director of the short film Dovecote. Until then, I hope to see you at the movies.